welcome to episode 159 of Top Rope Reality. Our last show.
The last one.
Last one.
As you know it.
Before the new era starts.
That's right. Before the superstar shake it. Anyway.
Shake
it up.
Do the Michael Moore thing.
I can't do all that.
Oh, make my leg hurt.
Right? But 160 is what you knew about Top Rope Reality. It all changes.
Partially.
Partially. But it all partially changes.
Yes.
How
It'll be
about that?
different.
It is going to be different.
Difference is good.
That's right. I mean, you got to change it up every now and then.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's start with some ringside news, breaking news here. It's not very much. I had to scoop and scope and this and that to find any decent news here, so.
But this one just popped up, I believe, today.
Which one? The first one?
Yes. Was it today, wasn't it?
I think so.
But Harry Smith, which is the British Bulldog's son, confirmed that Jake Roberts is dropping charges against him because Harry Smith apologized to him over the phone and publicly apologized. And so if he was going to do that, Jake would drop all the charges. And I didn't know where the heat really came from.
The coffee.
Well, anyway.
That's a knee slapper.
Could have been cold coffee. We don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it was because you're going to jail for throwing hot coffee at me, bitch, because you burned me. So.
Right? But basically there was a podcast with Roddy Piper and Jake Roberts, and that's where Jake Roberts said some rude, bad things about British Bulldog. Mm-hmm. That's where it all derives from. And apparently Harry Smith claims that him and Piper talked about things before Piper died, and they hashed things out about that podcast and cleared the air, and he said shortly thereafter Roddy Piper passed away. And then he goes, you never know what might happen in life, so, you need to clear the air and stuff. Now, if he just said that and something happens to Jake, I'm telling you what, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't jinx us here, people.
Now, let's start off.
No more deaths.
Let's start off 160 on a high note, right. Not a low note here.
No more deaths, okay? Bruno was hard enough.
Yes. That was a big one there.
And Paul Jones, let's not forget him, the same day.
Paul Jones,
same day.
Yeah, it hurts the same day when you have Bruno.
Yeah, I knew when that happened, I was like, no one's ever going to talk about Paul Jones. Yeah. Sad.
We didn't even talk about it on the TV.
They never did. They did a website thing, but it was way down at the bottom.
Yes.
But they never did a thing on the screen.
No, not even during halfway through the show. You do Bruno and then come back.
Right.
You notice that Sami Zayn wasn't.
Sami Zayn was not there.
Was not at the greatest Royal Rumble.
Just like all the women.
Why was Sami not there?
We understand the women not being there, but the Sami Zayn not being there, apparently, some people tried to say that he opted to be out of it, but that is not true. That WWE decided to take him out of it due to him being of descent from Syria.
Syrian descent, yes.
Syrian descent, and apparently Syria and Saudi Arabia have strained relations, and so they did not want to disrespect the culture.
So he was not allowed to show up.
Right, which, I mean, he got paid regardless. He gets paid the same. The women, I heard, getting a big payday for not showing up, which is weird. I mean, you just take it as your day off. Calm down.
That's true. Alexa Bliss has a few more days off, but...
What?
Alexa Bliss, she had the surgery done.
Oh.
She had a few more days off, so...
there you go. Just like Peyton Royce apparently had that surgery too.
Yes.
I'm going to need to see evidence of that. Just saying.
Till I believe it, I got to see it.
I got to see it to believe it now. But anyway, so, I mean, I don't think it really hurt Sammy's feelings. I mean, by gosh, stay at home for a week. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
A few more I thought would have been it that wasn't in it. I thought Drew would have been in it. He wasn't in it.
That is true. He wasn't there for
and
that.
I think they mentioned that John Cena and Triple H are going to be in it. They weren't even in it. So
they didn't need to be in it. Just like Undertaker didn't need to be in it.
Anybody who had a match should not be in it.
No.
I believe if they mentioned it though, there'll be a new one.
Which was interesting. None of the people repeated.
Thank goodness.
I thought all those were going to be in it just to make it to 60, but
yes.
we got to see some
50.
NXT people. Did I say 60?
You said 60.
Close
that's
in the next year.
That's next time, yes.
Which apparently they're doing a big one in November. Are we going to get a Survivor Series Saudi Arabia? With actual teams?
That would be wonderful.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful. Anyway, And apparently, I know it's not on here, but apparently there's an injury.
Hey, if you find any news, that's fine. I mean,
there was an injury that's not an injury.
Oh, I didn't. I looked at it, but I didn't.
Aiden English, he is angry because people are reporting that he was hurt. And he's saying that I'm glad people are reporting that weren't there and didn't ask me. But if you watch Undertaker tombstone him, you know, usually if you see it from the front camera angle, you can see when they drop, they never touch the mat.
Yeah.
His head straight up hit the mat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I thought it was
but
close.
he bounced.
I thought it was close.
It was definitely touched.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
close.
He definitely
There was
touched.
no gap this time.
No gap at all. But, I mean, he's posting on Twitter, and so it's not like he's in a coma or anything, people, so calm down.
Jeez.
And he may barely have touched.
And he probably did a lot worse in his independent days than he did WB. That little
Probably.
drop fall. He didn't grab his head, so you know, like oh.
Right. And I mean, they may test him just to be on the safe side, but he's probably fine.
Yes. You just sing a little more than you wrestle. How about that?
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I was glad though for the. We'll talk about the matches later because the show was a little disappointing. I did like the 50 man Rumble. It was interesting. Not 90 seconds between everybody.
No, there was definitely not 90 seconds.
As soon as somebody got in the ring, ooh, 10 seconds. I was like, no.
I know the walkway was long.
But a lot of them ran, so I was like,
Yes,
if they ran in, there's no way.
And then sometimes they were in the ring for a while, then the clock started up. You're like, okay, what's...
The Elias one, yes, there was plenty of time because he had to do his little fake concert thing, which worked out great to throw out 3 people at one time. Mm-hmm. And the other one that was probably longer than 90 seconds was the stare down between Mark Henry and the sumo guy.
Yes.
Which they're talking about the sumo guy may be back again. Let's not have another Big Show sumo thing at WrestleMania.
No.
Please don't do this to us.
Or Backlash, or Money in the Bank, or Survivor Series.
But so for some reason they're saying that he may be back again. Why did you?
I was not impressed.
Why did I know that he literally did nothing?
I wasn't impressed.
He just stood there and then Mark Henry said, bleh, threw him out.
He literally did go with...
Bleh. It was that quick and that easy. I was like, are you kidding me?
I hate that Mike Kanellis didn't get much.
I don't know whose idea it was to hire him, but I don't think somebody likes him backstage.
No.
They have literally pooped on him.
Well, let me fly 16 hours to Saudi Arabia to go and step on the ropes, and out I go. Could set a record.
I mean, it was really close.
Yeah.
I mean, technically that was the record for the 50 man, but I mean, it was still about 1 second, which Santino's already got that.
Yeah.
But Hornswoggle's still in the Rumble. They really screwed that one up.
Yeah. They did.
He did never go over the top rope.
He should have went up from the inside.
Yes, he should have.
And then when he got...
If he went up from the inside and went to the top. But if you notice, he kept looking at Dolph. Did you notice that?
No.
Okay, so he got up, and because everybody's like, man, he had a hard time getting up on the top rope. It wasn't that he had a hard time getting up there. It was that he kept giving a cue to Dolph for the super kick. So that he was waiting for, I guess Dolph was waiting to make sure he was cleared to take the super kick. Yeah. And if you watch Hornswoggle's face, he's like, he bobs his head. And then he's like, but he's looking over this way, and he's like, you know, like doing a little bit of that. And then all of a sudden the super kick comes and goes over his freaking head. I'm like, no! Because he puts his arm over to block it, so it didn't even hit here. It went over the top of him. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad, first of all, to have Hornswoggle in the match. That was a waste.
And, okay, so you ship him in, which that was for nostalgia.
You should have brought the heavy machinery guy in there, for goodness sakes.
Right.
So.
They ship him in for nostalgia. They shipped in Great Khali for nostalgia because it's in Saudi Arabia, blah, 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 whatever. So I get all that. Which it really shows I was not paying attention. I don't remember seeing Great Khali enter the ring or get eliminated. That's how much I was not paying attention to him. I saw him come out of the entrance.
He messed up too.
So. Did he?
He did. Lord. Because he picked up, he grabbed Daniel around the throat, which we'll talk about later. We'll come back to all that part 3 when we talk about the match. When we talk about the whole card and everything.
The whole card's aggravating, but anyway.
It is.
maybe this next thing means that we will stop hearing about, wow, we got Indie Cat appearance all of a sudden. Maybe we'll stop hearing about this one preview because apparently the release date for The Rock's Paige movie has been pushed back to next year. Thank you so much. Because there was only one preview and we saw it about 4 times per show.
Same one, no extra.
Paige introducing it and everything. Oh, we're backstage with The Rock. Woo!
Yes.
So maybe pushing it back, they'll give us a better preview next time.
Maybe they viewed it and said, "Ooh, we got to do some work on this thing."
Right.
So let's push it back.
I'm sorry, the preview that they showed, it looked like a little independent film.
Yes.
I was like, okay, if this is done by The Rock's production company, there's something wrong here.
They won't get me in the theater for that. Sorry.
No. Put it on the network, I might watch it.
Might, see? So you're not sure. Might, yes. Yeah, I saw they had a few apologies they had to come out in Saudi Arabia as the GSA apologized for WWE including women in the advert at the Great Royal Rumble.
Not the Great American Bash.
Yeah, Greatest Royal Rumble, yes.
Yes, because they were advertising how every pay-per-view is going to be co-branded, and it was a little music video, and there was women in it.
Yes.
But isn't it amazing, though, that there was also a little video with Saudi Arabian women that were not had their face covered.
Nope.
And they're apparently predominant women in the country there. And sports people and all kinds of stuff. And they were talking about how great it was to be part of Saudi Arabia. They did not have their face covered. I don't understand this.
There's few in the crowd that didn't have their face covered, and the few there were.
Yes! I guess if your husband gives you permission not to cover your face, you don't have to cover your face anymore.
So.
But they're saying that the new man in charge, that the prince is trying to change things about that, and they're now letting women drive and things. So things are coming around, but the apology made it sound like that the sports authority said women will never wrestle in Saudi Arabia. But I think that's kind of the idea. I hope that Triple H don't have to eat crow, because it sounds like the idea is in this 10-year contract that we're going to get to that point. To where they
I figure 2 or 3 years.
Where they loosen up on it. But I mean, if the prince says they're allowed to, then the sports authority's gonna have to shut their mouth.
Yeah.
Because he'll just be like, I can just get rid of you. You know?
Yeah, that's true. What I say goes. So, which I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, we'll find out. They may have to dress up. I mean, no skin show.
I mean,
the
whole head to toe thing should be fine, y'all.
That they did in Dubai, so. I mean,
And everybody loved it.
Yeah.
And apparently they're going back to Saudi Arabia in the capital in November.
Yes.
That's why I said maybe it'll be a Survivor Series thing.
And they said doing a big show in Australia.
Around the same time, yes.
So I don't see how they can do. I mean, they could.
They could do 2 different.
But will they put them both on the network, or either? You know, they may not at all. November says no. We're not doing anything special in November. We're not putting on the network.
Right, but
It's about to last year Starcade.
That's true. But I don't know. I mean, overall it was okay. But I mean, it does show a lot for what Triple H is trying to get done, and it's very interesting because before Shane left to go run his own thing, he was in charge of international stuff. So it's like this definitely bypassed everything he's tried to come up with before. So a lot of people were like didn't make any sense of the fact that Angle and Shane was in it. It's called pulling out all the stops because it didn't. The match didn't mean anything.
Oh, and that was Shane's first Royal ever.
Really?
Yes.
Which is interesting. They're putting the greatest Royal Rumble in with the stats of all the other Royal Rumbles. It's like it's not a Royal Rumble really.
No.
It was a glorified Battle Royal.
Unless you do it every year. I mean, unless you start to 50 every year. So.
Don't do it for the regular Royal Rumble. But that was my whole thing. Like, they got a green title, and they got a trophy. Which, I mean, the title makes sense, so they don't have to carry the trophy out. So Braun don't have to carry this trophy out. He may carry the belt out. But you're not going to defend it. There's nothing to defend.
No, it's not. Like the trophy. The trophy.
The trophy was cool.
Yes.
The Saudi Arabian dude in the ring didn't know what to do with himself, though.
No, he was funny, though, when he went to do the belt, he took it back.
He was really into it. He was like...
He was really into it.
He was grabbing the trophy. I think Vince was like, do that.
Pick up the trophy.
It was just awkward. Then you see Vince in the camera, right as the pyro started, you see him go. And I'm like, quick, give it cues, you're in the ring. That's what Kevin Dunn is for.
Yeah, with its 82 camera changes.
Right?
punch, change the camera, punch, change the camera, punch, change the camera, punch. You're making me sick. And I'm done.
It's true. It's true. But
and your fangled little push button back there. Push, 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 push.
But anyway, that is pretty much it for part one. Not a lot of news going on. Just a lot of Saudi Arabia stuff.
Just going out with a whimper on part one.
That's right. The last one of the old era, if you will.
Maybe back to part two, the Pro Wrestling Review, as we do the Monday Night Wars of January of 1998.
That's true.
The 88 weeks or 83 weeks has to start counting sooner or later.
They don't look good, though. None of them.
I ain't picked up a load of the DQs. So. It wasn't as bad. But it's getting better on them. Less and less, you know.
I hope so.
We'll see. Well, I'm Mike Hogan.
I'm Justin Cottle.
We'll see in a few clicks right at Top Row Reality on the YouTube.